Thank you for coming this morning. Welcome to Millcreek. You're standing in Millcreek, but across the street is Salt Lake City. And this is actually a great day for both Millcreek and Salt Lake City. We consider ourselves a city of great neighborhoods and great neighbors, and I know that Salt Lake City shares those views. And today we're actually here to celebrate being great neighbors, Millcreek and Salt Lake City. As part of our process of becoming a new city, we launched a general plan, and our residents told us that the thing that Millcreek lacked was a town center, and they put push pins in foam boards saying that this is where it should be. We also received a great deal of development interest in this area, and so we launched into a planning effort. But we had an impediment to that planning effort, which is a small peninsula of Salt Lake City, which bisects this area of our town center between 1300 East and Highland Drive, between Woodland Avenue out here and Miller Avenue to the north. And so we approached our neighbors in Salt Lake City, and I'm very happy today to announce that we've been able to come to an agreement for a boundary adjustment between Millcreek and Salt Lake City that will result in this peninsula of land transferring from Salt Lake City to incorporated Millcreek. And that will enable us to plan this area in a coherent manner. I also want to note that the quid pro quo, or the consideration for this transaction, is for Millcreek to forever cede any claim to the Brickyard proper across the street from us. But the good news for all the residents of Millcreek and Salt Lake City is that there is great feeling between our city councils, and we have agreed to jointly plan this area for the betterment of both residents of Millcreek and Salt Lake City. We share a long northern boundary with Salt Lake City, and it's very important for us to have good relationships with the mayor and council and the people of Salt Lake City. We have so much that we can work on together. We share interests in our population growth, in affordable housing, in public transit, and in air quality. And this kind of cooperation will enable us to work together and to plan this area so that it's a better place to live for both residents of Salt Lake and Millcreek. So I'm very happy to announce that. The other part of this that we in Millcreek are pleased to announce is that there will be a second area where the boundary will be adjusted. Currently, the area of the roundabout on the 23rd East exit off of I-80 is technically in Salt Lake City. It's owned by UDOT, and it's all tax-exempt property. However, because it's in Salt Lake City and it's a gateway to Millcreek, we have not been able to expend funds to landscape and beautify that area. So as part of this agreement as well, Salt Lake City will adjust its boundary with Millcreek there, and that roundabout will be located in Millcreek, and we then will landscape it in a xeriscapic way and say welcome to Millcreek for everybody that gets off the freeway there. So I really want to talk about this process has been ongoing in negotiations between our city councils and the mayor's offices of both Millcreek and Salt Lake City for the last 6 months or so. We've had a number of really productive meetings and really good feeling between our councils, and I think that we've built relationships that will last through this and last forever. And that's the best news here for both residents of Millcreek and Salt Lake City, is that we'll be able to work together as neighbors for the foreseeable future. So I'd like to introduce Mayor Jackie Biskupski from Salt Lake City to say a few words, and I'll be available for questions afterwards. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I have a bit of a cold, so bear with me here, but I did want to be here this morning and thank Mayor Silvestrini and the Millcreek council members for working so diligently with us. Salt Lake City loves to work with other communities to help other communities evolve and become what they can become. And Millcreek is well on their way to becoming a major city in our community, and we're very pleased to be a partner in that endeavor. I also want to acknowledge the fact that Salt Lake City will continue to provide services up in this area. We have a great deal of investment in infrastructure up here that we will continue to maintain, so residents and businesses can be assured that Salt Lake City isn't just walking away, because we certainly aren't. This truly is a partnership, and one that will last a lifetime. This is also about establishing neighborhoods, and we wanted to make sure that as Millcreek developed as a city, that they too had a sound place to work from, a city center for people to enjoy and engage. And we enjoy that in Salt Lake City, and certainly I want that for any city. And we see some of that same work going on with South Salt Lake, and we are working with them as well. So very exciting times for these communities that are right against our borders, and we are proud and grateful to be partners, and I am truly excited to see what happens and evolves here for this community and for us to help you celebrate with. So thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Charlie Luke. I'm the chair of the Salt Lake City Council. I'm with Amy Fowler, who represents District 7, just on the other side over here. So there has been, this has been an ongoing issue. And like most issues in government, once we have a great solution like this, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has not been complicated or without its difficulties. But what today is an example of is what can happen when two cities are willing to work together, when the leaders of those cities are willing to work together on a joint vision, on collaboration between what is in the best interest of each of the residents of each of their cities. And that's what we have today. I also want to acknowledge Representative Potter in the state legislature. There was a legislative bill during the last legislative session that would have attempted to do what we've done today. Representative Potter, after meeting with Mayor Silvestrini, Councilmember Jackson, myself, and Councilmember Rogers, who's unable to be here today, was willing to let us work this out. And that's exactly what we've done. We've spent months in many, many meetings sitting down, working together, and figuring out how to implement the joint vision of Millcreek City and the vision of Salt Lake City in this area. Local government is the best place for these types of decisions. And while they aren't always easy, while there can be some contention, what we've demonstrated today is that by working together, by talking through the issues that each of us have, that we can come up with something that will be in the long-term best interest of our cities. Mayor Silvestrini mentioned the Brickyard. One thing that Salt Lake City has also committed to doing is having our planning staff work closely with Millcreek's planning staff in the long-term vision of the Brickyard. It doesn't make sense to have Millcreek investing as much time and effort and money in their city center and not have a collaborative effort with the redevelopment of the Brickyard in Salt Lake City. So both cities will be working together on this. This is the first day in a long-term vision and long-term effort to revitalize this area in both Millcreek and Salt Lake City. So I just want to thank Mayor Silvestrini for his diligence and constantly looking after the best interest of the residents of Millcreek during this process. Without his leadership and Councilmember Jackson's leadership, we wouldn't be able to stand here today in such a collaborative way. So turn the time over to Councilmember Fowler.
Thank you, Charlie. Basically, Charlie and the mayors have said it best, but I just want to say that this went from a process where in the beginning it seemed that the plan included annexing my house. I have to make fun, Jeff. Annexing my house to now creating a real friendship and partnership between these two cities. If you've ever heard me talk about Salt Lake City, you've heard me say that I believe we are an example. And I believe that cities throughout the state can look at us as an example. And as the capital city, we should be an example. And this is yet one more thing that we can be an example for of how it is important to sit at the table and have the conversations. I cannot tell you the number of hours that we have spent with Councilmember Jackson and Mayor Silvestrini sitting at the table, hashing it out, coming to a real collaboration together. Telephone conferences, city, literally hours sitting at tables together. So I really want to thank Millcreek City, their city council, and Mayor Silvestrini for being willing to put in the time and sit with us and walking through this process together so that we can be an example of what good neighbors look like. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to Millcreek, huh?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Cheri Jackson. I'm the Millcreek City Council member for District 3, in which you are standing. Having lived in the Millcreek area for most of my life, I know that the northern boundary of our city has been a sore spot for many residents since long before we incorporated. After the vote, many citizens continued to express their concerns about this issue, and it was something we as a city council felt we needed to address. We have had both informal and formal discussions with Salt Lake City about our common boundaries. These took on an added urgency with the Millcreek City Center concept taking shape, based upon input from Millcreek residents over the past few years. The area adjacent to us here, where we now stand, is crucial to that city center plan and really to the rejuvenation of this area. Additionally, I am very pleased that the roundabout off I-80's 23rd East exit was included as part of this discussion, as it is one of the primary entry points into Millcreek City, especially for residents in District 3. Overall, I am pleased with this boundary adjustment. Is it perfect for Millcreek? No, but neither is it perfect for Salt Lake City. To me, it seems like a fair compromise for both cities, both trying to work as good neighbors. To quote Abraham Lincoln, discourage litigation, persuade your neighbors to compromise whenever you can, and that is what I feel we have done here. I'm grateful for the cooperation and collaboration of the Salt Lake City Council and Mayor's Office. I look forward to working with them in the future as we tackle other issues of mutual concern. Thank you.